Blue Jays win back-to-back ball games against the Tampa Bay Rays and win the series. And before I even get into the video, you're probably thinking, whoa, his hair's gone. Yeah, finally was able to get a haircut, and I feel so much lighter when I'm outside. I don't have hair flying around like crazy. I can feel it on my head, and it's nice, and I love it, and I'm just happy to have finally gotten a haircut. I'm getting rid of that mop on my head. But let's get talking about this ball game because the Blue Jays win it 6-3. They've won back-to-back ball games against Tampa. They've won the series against the Rays, and they're 43-38 on the year. So they've played some pretty good games in back-to-back contests. They've gotten really good starts in back-to-back games. And let's get to the offense here. Bottom of the second inning, George Springer comes up, and on the very first pitch he sees, he crushes it deep and gone to put the Blue Jays in front 1-0 early on. Great stuff, and Ross Stripling was great. Top of the fourth inning, Manuel Margot hits a solo shot, and we're tied. Gurriel, you could have had that, big fella. He does not. Goes out of the ballpark, and it's a 1-1 game. And it stays that way until the bottom half of the sixth inning, and it starts with a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. ringing 117-mile-an-hour ringing double to the left center field gap to the wall with a one-out double for Vladdy. Then George Springer walks. All right, we got 2 on. They bring in the reliever. I can't remember who it was that came in, and I think it was on the tip of my tongue. You guys can let me know. Teoscar Hernandez hits the ball off the end of the bat, dribbles on the third baseline. Throw is not in time. He's safe at first. Bases loaded, 1 out for Lourdes Gurriel Jr. And Gurriel has a pretty good at bat, and he hits the ball on the ground to third. Joey Wendell goes home with it because it wasn't hit hard enough, in my opinion, to turn 2. It would have been an off-balance throw to second, and even then it would have been tight there. It would have been tight to first. You got to take that out at home. He fires at home. It's in the dirt. Zunino can't pick it. Vladdy slides in safely, and the Blue Jays are in front now, 2-1. All right, we're feeling good. We got the lead now. This is good, but let's keep this thing going because the bases are still loaded with only 1 out. Then Cavan Biggio comes up, and he kind of gets jammed, pops it up, but it's in no man's land down the third baseline as it drops behind the third baseman, diagonally to the shortstop, and in front of the left fielder in kind of that Bermuda Triangle in the corner thing. It stays fair, and in comes Teo, in comes Springer, and the Blue Jays are now up 4-1. All right, we got some good stuff. Gurriel tries to steal third, gets thrown out. So Biggio's at second with 2 out for Santiago Espinal, and he gets a hanging breaking ball, and he crushes it to left center field, and it's gone! His first big league homer for Santiago Espinal, putting the Blue Jays up 6-1, and that paid dividends later on in the ball game. We'll talk about that. But a big home run for Espinal is first in the big leagues, and it expands the Jays' lead. The big-time 5-run inning for the Toronto Blue Jays in the bottom half of the 6th. They make the Rays pay for that defensive mistake. Yes, they gave the Jays that 2-1 lead, but that extra out, you made them pay. You made them hurt, and you got the extra couple runs. So a great job by the Blue Jays capitalizing on the Tampa Bay Rays' defensive mistakes, which you don't hear a lot of very often, which is kind of crazy. And then in the top of the 9th inning, Jordan Romano comes out and walks the first 2 guys, and we're sitting here freaking out because we're like, oh, God, he's like the only guy that we trust at this point. And he finds a way to get out of it. Unfortunately, 2 runs came across because the ball hit the bag at second base. But either way, Kiermaier gets the single, Yandy Diaz scores, Randy Rosarina scores, making it 6-3. But he ends up getting out of it, and the Blue Jays hang on to the 6-3 win over the Tampa Bay Rays, and as I mentioned, are 43-38 on the year. And with this win today, take this in, Jays fans, the Jays are just 3 games behind the Tampa Bay Rays for the second place in the AL East, and one of the 2 wild card spots because Oakland was tied with them coming into game today. So the Jays are right there. They're playing some very good baseball. Teams around them in the standings, other than Seattle, are playing terrible. Oakland's not been playing well. The Rays have been playing terrible. Cleveland's been awful. The Yankees have been terrible. And us and the Mariners are kind of sitting there playing some pretty good ball, kind of climbing the standings quick time. And Jays fans, we have a total of, 7 games left? Or is it 7? I think it's 7 games left before the All-Star break. 4 are against these Rays. I know it's a tall task, but you find a way to win all 4 games, you have a wild card spot at the All-Star break. Take that in for a second. The way this year has gone so far, it'd be crazy. Now, 1 game at a time, you got the W today, massive W. Now, let's break down these stats real quick. Offensively, the Jays only had 6 hits in the ballgame. Yeah, they scored 6 runs. We're all like, wow, this is great, this is great. You didn't get a whole lot of offense. Vladdy had the ringing double. Springer had the home run. Espinal with the home run. Biggio with the blooper. Teo with the infield single. There might be 1 more sprinkled in there, but that's 5 or 6 hits in those 2 innings. But you made them pay for mistakes, and that's what good teams find a way to do. The only real key guy in the game today offensively, Santiago Espinal, went 2 for 3 in the game with a run scored and had 2 RBIs. He's hitting above 300 on the year. He's putting bat to ball quite often. I like what we're seeing from Santiago this season. And for Jays fans, a lot of people say, well, where the heck did we get this guy from? Well, he was the guy we acquired in the Steve Pearce trade a few years back. Obviously, Steve Pearce went on to be a World Series MVP with the Boston Red Sox. But Santiago Espinal, as we are now seeing Blue Jay fans, is turning into a good-looking young player for the Toronto Blue Jays. So really good job there. Now, with all the crazy offense that we saw in that 6th inning, Ross Stripling's start, and he gets no decision, is going to be entirely overlooked. His command was a little off at times, but again, what we've learned from Ross is even when his stuff ain't the greatest, he battles. He went 5 2/3, allowed 2 hits. 1 was the solo bomb to Manuel Margot. The 1 run, he walked 3, as I mentioned, the command was a little off, and he got some calls as well. But he had 5 strikeouts. He allowed 1 run over 5 2/3 against Tampa Bay Rays. I don't care, well, the Tampa Bay Rays were not playing very well. They didn't have Austin Meadows, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. Really. He went out there and went 5 2/3 of 1-run ball, kept the Jays in it, and allowed their offense to get the groove in the 6th inning. Starting pitching is so important. It gets so overlooked nowadays with how crazy bullpens are. Starting pitching is so important. And what we've seen over the last 2 days from the Toronto Blue Jays is fantastic starting pitching, and they've done a heck of a job getting the offense going at some point during that game. So great job for Ross Stripling yet again. His ERA is just a shade over 4. Remember when this guy had an ERA of like 7.20 or something like that, and this guy was terrible? He has really turned his season around. Great job for Stripling. And we see Adam Simber for the 2nd time as a Toronto Blue Jay. And he goes an inning, allows 1 hit. It was a double to Joey Wendell, but that was all she wrote there for Adam Simber. And that was a really good at-bat from Joey Wendell. So you can't really fault Simber a whole lot there. His stuff is nasty. It's going to play for this team. And hey, he's throwing, 2 1/3 as a Toronto Blue Jay, and he hasn't allowed a run. So hey, that's pretty much progress for us right now. And Tim Mesa did a heck of a job today. Went an inning and a third, allowed 1 hit, struck out 3. I mean, he was fantastic. He has been on an absolute roll lately, and we're hoping that can continue moving forward for Tim Mesa because we really need that lefty out of the bullpen to be consistent. We don't have that. Obviously with Ryan Barucki, well, there's a little bit of progress on him on the injury front, but he's not going to be back for a while. So with that being said, and no other lefty, really. I mean, Tyler Cicero, you don't expect that guy to be out there in a big situation. Tim Mays is your lefty. And for him to go out there and do what he did today in an inning and a third of 1 hit and 3 strikeouts, I mean, that's fantastic. And Jordan Romano went out there, as I mentioned, started the inning off really, really slow, walking the first 2 guys he faced. Did a good job after that, though. Got the next 2 to pop. I think it was one to pop out and 1 to ground out. I can't remember which one was which. And then he had the ground ball right up the middle to Simeon, but it hits the bag and goes over Simeon. Would have ended the ball game, no runs across for him, but 2 runs end up coming in on the play. And his line goes 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 runs, and 2 walks. So it's not very pretty, but it really could have been different if the base wasn't there. But it was. And that's baseball. The finale of this series, guys, goes tomorrow afternoon. It's a 1:07 first pitch there at Salem Field as the Blue Jays look for the series sweep over the Tampa Bay Rays. Robbie Ray gets the ball for the Blue Jays, and Ryan Yarbrough gets the ball for the Rays. The couple of Southpaws on the mound for both teams there tomorrow afternoon at 1:07. All right, so you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and you enjoyed the ball game this afternoon, smack the like button. I do appreciate that. Hit that subscribe button if you guys have not done so already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on the game. Would you like, would you not like from today's ball game for the Toronto Blue Jays? And I will talk to you guys tomorrow afternoon. Finale of the 3-game set between the Rays and the Blue Jays. Robbie Ray gets the ball for the Blue Jays, and Ryan Yarbrough gets the mound for the Rays in the finale of the 3-game set. 107 first pitch at Salem Field. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll talk to you guys then.